if as a species we're operating from self-interest focus, primal ego motivations, tribal motivations, wants, feeding dynamics, and if they have informed our current quality of values, whether those values are demonstrated in our systems of governance and law, whether they're demonstrated in our social process, whether those values are shown in our personal relationships, in our family, or whether we show them in the way we operate within organizations, we would suggest that the glass ceiling on the quality of values that we operate from is generated by our primal ego drives and tribal drives and wants and feeding drives. And that both of those generate how we go about life as individuals, as nations, and as a species. They determine our priorities, our processes, our laws, our rules, our regulations, our approaches, how we generate solutions, and what our goals are in the near term and the long term. So right now, for a lot of people, even though we've got global warming, pollution is okay. It's not a problem. For Exxon, if we understand correctly from the news, or other gas companies, they knew 40 years ago that global warming was on the way, and that, as far as we understood from the news, that their products were generating it, whether through plastics or burning of fossil fuels or whatever, and they chose to continue selling them. So for them, that was okay. That was just business. That was just making a profit. That's just doing what Americans do. Or being facetious, we apologize. That was self-interest focus at the cost of the entire planet. If we shift to conscious motivations and conscious global service intentions, focusing on the common good, then we generate higher global values, not global values of competition, not global values of profit first and always, not global values of market share attainment, not global values of hegemony and one nation trying to subjugate another, not global values of the race to artificial intelligence so that one nation can take over all the other nations through its superior computing power or monetization potential of new technologies. So if we have higher motivations, we get higher values. If we have higher values, they inform our priorities, our processes, and our goals. Pollution becomes not okay. On the left, we have the present. On the right, we have the potential future. How we map our way to that future and embody it and live it and choose it, regulate it, govern it, monitor it, create laws and rules and regulations that support it, how we intend it is up to us. Right now, there is a root chakra tribal competition going on between the present and the possible healthy, sustainable future. Free will choice, education at global scale can tip the scales to this possible positive future. We want to attain this via the conscious collaboration model of the WSS and through the effect of the social movement engine in the world. This is how time works in our world. This is how people experience, I'm not trying to be abstract. Our experience of life is what we call time, many people. What we get, what we experience, what we choose, how we relate to other people, and our recording of all of that tumultuous process of operating from our wants and desires and ego gratification motivations, our values or our beliefs, our expectations, and how they inform our priorities and processes and decisions and goals. That is experienced time. We're talking about, we're saying that mechanism of operating from time in that way is fundamentally broken. It does not work. It is not sustainable. It cannot generate a sustainable life process if we continue to operate that way. We can learn from that school of hard knocks. We can learn from all the destruction of the environment if we choose to. We can learn to choose and intend and operate from higher values, higher motivations and intentions, and generate higher priorities, processes, and goals. And that will be a healing of the process of experienced time in our world. Right now, people feel their time is precious. And what they mean is their time is operating in the left side of the screen here. Time is money. Time is power. Time is what they're going to get to experience. Time is they're meeting the expectations of the tribe. Time is operating within the norms of their culture. Time is operating in accord with the status quo. That definition of time is killing our world. How necessary is it that we redefine our process of time comprehensively, foundationally, and now, and for the better? I apologize for throwing in that big new rock in the jar at this late moment in the conversation. How vital is it that as a species, we learn to tell time more accurately? That we learn to manage our time in a more healthy and sustainable way. If time is all of these processes of life, it's not the movement of a clock on a watch or the hand on a watch or a clock. It's not an hour, a day, a week, or a year. It's an experience. We had a 2-hour workshop 2 days ago. It ran 2.5 hours. For people who operate from time as a fixed commodity and resource that they have a lack of and they can run out of, and that is going to cause them pain and problems if they're not resonant with the tribe, that would seem disrespectful, dishonoring, and non-optimal. We are going to have workshops that run 2 days or potentially a week or 2 in future. That might sound like crazy talk. And the question is, if we've got 8 years to transform the world, are we going to be able to do it in 2-hour snippets? Are we going to fast food expectationalize our process of workshops? Is that a constructive approach? Is that going to meet the mark? Is it going to fulfill the standard of transformational effect? Must we be willing to have longer workshops that are full weekend workshops or full one day of a weekend workshop?